Alright, so MrBeast responded, and here is Mr. Troll's thoughts on the response. Hello everyone, it's Mr. Troll delivering an update. So MrBeast has responded to all the Dogback 404 allegations and all that. And no, he did not respond with just a single tweet or something. He actually went on an over 2-hour long interview with Oompaville. And Mr. Troll sat through the whole thing because Mr. Troll did not want to watch other commentary channels give their summarized ADHD versions of this, so that Mr. Troll can form completely unbiased thoughts on all of this. Now, to be fair, this whole thing was indeed over 2 hours long and my attention span is under 2 milliseconds, so it was really hard to focus on everything MrBeast had to say, so apologies if I perhaps misrepresent or misinterpret some of the things MrBeast said, but for the most part, it was really just MrBeast refuting all the Dogback 404 accusations. MrBeast was like, no, that's not true, what Dogback said is cap. Like, for example, MrBeast has been accused of using child labor, and MrBeast was like, no, that's not true. Next time I can record myself doing the philanthropy work just to prove to people that I am not using child labor. It was stuff like that. Do I think it's true? Maybe. I don't know. Not really. Oh crap, I just inadvertently quoted Patrick Bateman!
Maybe. I don't know. Not really.
Anyways, I'm gonna take MrBeast's word, at least for now. And then MrBeast has also kind of stated the obvious sometimes, like he stated that he did hire that Delaware guy because he was only 19 at that time and did not know he was some registered offender, which is already obvious because Soggy Cereal already explained that, and I talked about that in my last video. I can show you some of MrBeast's response here.
I did hire him, but for the context around it, I hired him when I was 19, so I was a teenager, and this is kind of leans a little bit into what we were talking before. This is back when it was just a couple of my friends from high school, my mom. My videos were getting bigger. I needed more help, and so I walked in because I'm dumb. Like, I probably should have gone on some site and hired people who had production experience, but instead I walked into my local Best Buy, and I just hired multiple people. Obviously, when I was a teenager, I didn't know what a background check was, and I just hired a couple people there that wanted to help me make videos. One of them was the person named Delaware, and no, I did not know he was a registered sex offender. There's a rumor that's gone around that said that he sat me and my mom down and told us. Obviously, I don't remember that happening. And when I read that tweet, the first thing I did was I called my mom and I was like, hey, this is like 7 or 8 years ago. Just put this in context. 7 or 8 years ago, not indicative of my company today, but I was like, did this happen? Because someone's claiming this happened. My mom said, I would have literally quit or honestly probably shut the business down before I ever let my teenage son hire a registered sex offender knowingly, which I have a very protective mom. So, I mean, even if you don't believe me, you should at least believe that. I feel like it's not absurd to believe that my mom wouldn't have knowingly let her teenage son hire a registered sex offender. Like, that just doesn't even, like, in what world does that even make sense? It's like that just, I mean, that's just not even rooted in reality. So, but yeah, it's just an unfortunate thing that happened. Not that this, I take accountability.
Yeah, anyone making those rumors and conspiracy theories are lunatics and they might as well screw themselves. And on one occasion, MrBeast did admit that he perhaps might have indeed ran an illegal lottery, and MrBeast did own up to it. He said if anyone was affected by that, they can reach out to MrBeast and get their money back, which I do respect. I am satisfied with that response personally. However, I am not necessarily satisfied with the interview as a whole. For example, some of MrBeast's responses felt kind of incompetent in my opinion. One that comes to mind is him addressing the whole Jake Weddle thing. Like, in case you don't remember, Jake Weddle was basically accusing MrBeast of putting the participants under inhumane conditions in one of the videos. And MrBeast had this to say.
for the Weddle video, Jake Weddle was the person who competed in one of my videos. The video was we built a room in our studio, and then the challenge was every day you live in this room, you win $10,000. And then it was like kind of like a white padded room. There's like a pool table, a bed in there, bunch of other items, blah blah. And let me just gather my thoughts on this one. How do I want to say? I think the best way to talk about this is to also talk about how we did similar videos with other people, because one of the things is like multiple people can do the same thing and experience it differently. That's what's a little tricky about these like contestant-based videos. I can never know 100% how something's going to affect someone, right? So similar to the Weddle video, I just want to lay the foundation before we go in specifically to that. Similar to that, we also did a video where we put did you see the video where we put two people in a room, Bailey and Susie, 100 days trapped together? So one thing that Weddle struggled with was the lights being on, and he mentioned that in the video. But Bailey and Susie, on day 20 of 100-day trap together, I offered to turn the lights off for part of their prize pool. And they said no. And like the lights wasn't, I mean, I'm sure it was difficult, but it wasn't like that big of a difficulty for them. And so it's like something for them that's not that big of a difficulty for other people can be, challenging and hard. And like what I'm trying to say is you never know how someone's going to react to something, right? It's impossible to fully predict. And so that's one of these variables of these challenges, which is why we give people the ability to quit, or to leave at any point. And so in his video, he went 11 days, won $110,000, right? I believe it was 11 days. Yeah. Yes. And then he decided to quit on that day. And, he mentions this in his video, like around day 11 or 12. I don't know what the day is off the top of my head, but he was struggling. And so we did turn off the lights. We sent a psychiatrist in there to check in on him. And we were like, yeah, he's not doing too well. And we ended the challenge and we paid him. Didn't go long enough where we got a video, so we didn't end up uploading it. But I think the big thing is just that's why we allow people to leave these challenges. Like my goal when doing these obviously isn't to like break people mentally or push them past their limits. It's just to like create an environment where they can challenge themselves and do something interesting or cool.
So I think that just because some people are okay with doing a challenge does not make the challenge as a whole ethical. Because I feel like some people would be willing to relive the Holocaust for money. Does it justify the Holocaust? No. Okay, this was maybe an extreme example. But what I am trying to say is that you have to factor in a lot of conditions here. Sure, there are people out there who are willing to do literally anything. But that doesn't mean doing anything won't have actual health risks and psychological risks on human beings. Now, I am not very familiar with how that challenge really worked, but it is possible that people were indeed put under circumstances that could literally cause them physical harm and things like that. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe the challenges were indeed safe and harmless, but in that case, I think MrBeast should have explained this and gone more deep into this. Because when he just says, oh, other people were willing to do it, that makes it okay, and Jake Weddle could quit whenever he wanted, like, that is a quite weak argument in my book.
Talk a little bit about Ava Tyson and specifically the Shadman stuff. I know we talked about the third-party investigation, which found no wrongdoing in like a legal sense from that perspective. A thing that a lot of people care about is Shadman's a fucking freak and is a disgusting person. Did you know about the painting in? Did you know about that? Have you ever interacted with Shadman before? Like, what is your relation to that, and specifically that relationship between Shadman and Ava Tyson and you?
Yeah, no, that's actually a good follow-up question. So this is what it was like. I don't remember 7, 8 years ago. Back then, I used to have like a bunch of anime posters up on the wall. I'm just like set a foundation for context. We used to have a bunch of anime posters and things like that on our wall in the house. And one day, Ava put up this poster that was like an animated character holding a fidget spinner and a gun. Admittedly, it was a weird image. I didn't know who made it. I just kind of assumed it was a meme. I obviously did not know who Shadman was. I've never spoken with Shadman. I did not buy the poster or commission it or anything. And yeah, I mean, to be honest, I didn't really think too much of it because we just had like a lot of anime posters and things up, and it was an animated character that was clothed, obviously. And yeah, knowing what I know about Shadman now, it was a very weird thing to buy. I'm not really sure why she bought it.
So MrBeast was basically a weeb. I have already made videos where I expressed my thoughts on having anime posters that you don't realize may be borderline illegal, and I don't want to regurgitate what I have said there, but I suggest you check out my video where Tipster was reacting to Vosh or something. But other than that, I feel like there were certain things that were not answered. I feel like MrBeast never fully answered how fake or authentic his challenges were. I mean, he stated the obvious, that the reason why his girlfriend filled in as a contestant on one of his videos was because the actual contestants had COVID, which is something that is already obvious, because like MrBeast stated himself, his girlfriend herself has already spoken up about this on a different podcast.
You were in the video 100 girls versus 100 boys for $500,000.
That was an accident. You know, if I accidentally win, it might look like it was planned. They had 100 girls versus 100 boys, and the group who could stay in the circle the longest, they got to win $5,000 each. A lot of people came and they tested positive, and the girls somehow ended up with way too little contestants. So I got a call randomly from the studio, and they're like, we need a female. I'm like, well, I am a female.
Last time I checked.
I guess I could do this 100-hour challenge.
Were you dating at the time?
Yes.
And did the others know you were dating MrBeast at the time?
They pretended that they didn't, but I think some of them caught on.
Did he like move to the side of the circle and just
Oh
check
no,
up on
he
you?
avoided eye contact at all costs.
But what MrBeast failed to talk about and what Oompaville failed to ask here is, for example, the Mac videos. Were they scripted? Were they authentic? Because, for example, there have been a lot of people, even prior to Dogpack 404, claiming that door was fake. And we cannot forget the whole Rosanna Pansino controversy a year ago, where she claimed she was unfairly eliminated from a competition. And I feel like MrBeast should have addressed that, but I have no memory of him ever doing that throughout this entire interview. But really, this was mainly what I thought about this whole interview. There might be more things, but perhaps others have already covered it at this point. But this was my perspective anyways, so make sure to like, subscribe and comment for the algorithm, or you might end up rightfully accusing Mr. Troll of trolling you.